As a sales leader, as an executive, I want to ask you something right out of the gate.
Okay.
What percentage of your organization's strategy right now is dedicated to being just better versus being truly different? Just think about that for a second.
And if you're like most companies, that split is probably, what, 90-10?
Heavily on better.
Heavily focused on better. And that, unfortunately, is exactly why so many great organizations feel like they're just stuck in this brutal race to the bottom.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are taking a really strategic look at some key insights from the sales experts.
Yeah, that this is all about moving past that constant, exhausting competition.
Exactly. Our mission here is to pull out some actionable strategy for real, sustainable sales success and, show you why imitation is just a losing game. We're drawing a lot from their analysis, why differentiation beats competition.
And this isn't just about tweaking a slogan. It's about re-engineering your market identity so that, well, the whole sales cycle gets easier.
You want them to come to you already knowing why you're the only choice.
Exactly.
Okay, let's dig into this, because the first big idea is a massive mistake that I think consumes so much time and budget.
Mm-hmm.
And that's this idea that trying to be better, it almost always devolves into imitation.
It's a totally natural human impulse, right? You look at the market leader, you see their success, and the board says, get us those results.
So you think, okay, if we just match their features, maybe knock 5% off the price.
Or use a similar logo, we'll start to chip away at their market share.
But the result is, well, it's a strategic mess. The analogy they use is perfect. It's the independent coffee shop that tries to look just like the big green and white giant.
And what's the result? It's just bland. It's forgettable.
Right. You walk in, it feels vaguely familiar, the coffee is fine, but there's nothing for your brain to hold on to. You have no reason to choose them.
And this is where we have to talk about real business risk. Copying puts your entire organization on this constant delay. They call it strategic lag.
But hold on, isn't chasing the leader kind of the safest bet? I mean, they've proven the model works.
It seems safe, but it's strategically fatal. The source makes a great point here.
Which is?
By the time you even notice a competitor's winning move and then actually build something to match it, which can take, 18, 24 months?
Or more in some industries.
Right. They've already been doing it for years. They've gathered all the data. They've optimized it. And, they might even be moving on to the next thing.
So you're spending a fortune building a bridge to where your competitor was 2 years ago.
Precisely. You are locking in a strategic disadvantage. Think about the R&D budget you just wasted on catching up instead of creating.
Not to mention the opportunity cost.
Huge. You're ignoring what the market needs next because you're so focused on the past. And for sales leaders, this is critical. You lose all your pricing power.
You can't charge a premium for a copy.
Never. Your only move is to compete on price, and that is the definition of a race to the bottom.
That delay is just deadly today. And it leads right into another trap, which is so important for anyone in sales who controls the messaging.
The comparison trap.
Exactly.
This is such a subtle but powerful point. When a business positions itself as, say, the Marmite of accountants or the upstart of enterprise software.
Yeah, you hear that kind of thing all the time. It sounds like a shortcut to explaining what you do.
It is a shortcut, but it's a shortcut that leads to the wrong destination. The source says you're triggering something called the priming effect.
Okay, what does that mean in this context?
It means you're spending your valuable time and money getting the customer to think about the established player, the reference, not you.
So the brain just registers, oh, this is like that other thing I already know.
Exactly. You've made them remember the reference, not your own unique brand. The goal is for a customer's brain to have a direct path to you.
But you've just put a giant competitor billboard in the middle of that path.
That's a perfect way to put it. Now your sales team has to work twice as hard just to undo that first impression.
Okay, so the cost is clear. You've got this expensive imitation, strategic delays, no pricing power, and a branding trap that helps your competition. So the big question is, how do we pivot? Where do we go from here?
Well, you shift entirely. You move to the strategy that the sales experts endorse. They say your mission isn't to help a client become a carbon copy of someone else.
It's to help them become the best version of themselves.
That's it. That's where the real sustainable edge is found.
Now, that sounds great for a founder, maybe. But for an executive at a big company with quarterly targets, defining the authentic self of a giant organization sounds hard. It's just easier to copy features.
It is harder, no question, but it pays off massively, and it leads right to the first big actionable insight. Authenticity is non-transferable.
The core lesson being.
Nobody can be you. It's that simple.
So let's make that operational. How does a leader actually define and then, enforce that authenticity across a whole company?
You start with what the source calls a values audit. Authenticity isn't just a feeling. It's your specific style, your founder's story, your team's culture, the unique way you solve problems.
So it's about finding the quirks that make you memorable and leaning into them instead of trying to sand them down to look like everyone else.
Exactly right. The author talks about their own MBA, where they learned all the standard formulas.
Right.
But they found that focusing less on those formulas and more on their own authentic voice is what actually built the business. That uniqueness becomes your moat. It's the highest form of IP you have.
That's a great way to think about it. Inspiration is good, cloning is deadly.
And that flows right into the second big insight, which is to avoid generic disappearance. This is so common when companies try to scale quickly.
You mean when they outsource their branding without a clear vision?
Precisely. You end up with these perfectly professional websites and brochures that feel completely soulless, generic.
So the company just spent a huge amount of money to look exactly like everybody else in their space.
Yes. Or worse, they've guaranteed nobody will remember them. Think about the industries they mentioned, like accountants, consultants, law firms.
Oh, yeah.
You look at 10 of their websites, and it's the same muted blue color palette, the same stock photos of people in a boardroom.
And mission statements, you could just swap between them, and no one would notice. They all look trustworthy, which is the baseline, I guess.
But none of them look different. The professionalism is there, but the distinction is gone.
And the cost for a sales leader there is very real. Your customer acquisition costs go way up because you're just part of the noise.
Your marketing has to work harder. Your sales team has to work harder. You're making the prospect do all the work of figuring out why you matter.
So the question for an executive is our brand amplifying our difference or just proving we meet the industry standard?
To make this idea of authentic distinction really concrete, the source gives some great real-world examples.
I like the one about the hotel industry. It's a perfect example.
Right. You take the Savoy, the Dorchester, and the Ritz. All of them are 5-star luxury hotels.
They all have impeccable service, amazing food, but you would never, ever confuse them.
Never. Each one has a profoundly distinct identity. They don't try to be better by adding one more feature. They deliver a different experience, a different flavor of luxury.
They chose to be discernible, not just better.
Their authenticity is their unique selling proposition. And then you have the tech example that everyone knows.
Apple.
Apple, it's a perfect case study. For years, they had, 5% of the market? Maybe less?
By the numbers, they were not better than the competition.
Not at all. But they were relentlessly, unapologetically authentic and different. They were polarizing.
They focused on being themselves, even when they were small.
And that identity was so strong, they created their own niche. They wrote their own rules. Now, fast forward to today.
The whole world is chasing them.
Everyone is chasing them, trying to mimic the Apple experience. That shows you the power of owning your difference from the very beginning. You stop fighting for a slice of the pie, and you start baking your own.
That is the pivot point. Right there, from chasing to being chased. So let's bring this all together. What's the roadmap for creating that defensible niche?
Okay, so the path to creating that niche, the one that drives real sales success, it comes down to 3 key factors. Your business has to be, let's go through them.
Let's break them down. What's the first one?
First, it absolutely must be authentic. This is your source code. It has to be a true reflection of your values, your style, how you solve problems.
Got it. Authentic. What's number 2?
Second, it must be definable.
Yeah.
This is about language. Your clients, your sales team, anyone should be able to clearly say what makes you different.
So if your own sales team can't explain it in one sentence, you haven't defined it.
You haven't defined it. And third, it must be discernible.
Meaning
It's visible. It's felt in everything you do. Your sales deck, your product, how you answer the phone. If you claim you're different but the experience feels standard, you failed the test.
authentic, definable, discernible. Okay, so that's a real 3-point framework. This isn't just philosophy. It's a checklist for an executive team.
It is. And the ultimate insight that ties it all together is this. The easiest, most effective way to create your own niche is simply to commit to being yourself.
Because that's the one thing your competitor can never copy.
Never. You own the source code. Your authenticity isn't a soft skill. It's your strategic moat.
That sums it up perfectly. So as we wrap up, the final conclusion for achieving real sales success is this. Being better is a race you'll never win.
It's an expensive treadmill.
It is. It leads to that strategic lag we talked about. But being different, that's the advantage only you can own. Your authenticity is the single best growth strategy you have.
It's what lets you stop blending in and finally start standing out.
We really appreciate you joining us for this deep dive. I hope you take this framework authentic, definable, and discernible and just. Assess your team strategy right now.
Are you really leading with your unique value? Or are you running a competitor's old playbook?
It's a vital question.
And if you want to go deeper on this, explore more of the insights from the sales experts, you should really visit thesalesexperts.com. They have a whole suite of resources there.
And as you think about today's conversation, here's one final thought for you. A provocation, really.
Ooh, I like it.
If your top competitor, the one you spend all that time and money analyzing, if they just vanish tomorrow, would your prospects still be able to clearly define why they should choose you? Think about that. We'll see you on the next deep dive.